It was only yesterday when we were all Caps crazy, clutch crafty veterans, and a sensational stone wall erected by Ole the goalie. Now in October, we can once again go pot wild with the Caps on HTS. 8 memorable clashes, including a return confrontation with Buffalo's Dominator and a chance to avenge our cup loss to Detroit. The Capitals, HTS, and you, ready to play this October.
The following is an exclusive presentation of HTS. Last season, the Washington Capitals and their fans soared higher than ever before. After missing the playoffs the previous season, they entered the 97-98 campaign with a new head coach and general manager. And with expectations high throughout the organization, the Caps' #1 goal was to get back to the postseason party. I think it's safe to say, mission accomplished.
And then I think when we see the, the Eastern Conference champion banner going up, I mean, then it's really going to sink in. Hey, we did something, this organization's never done before. And then obviously the next step would be to get a nice Stanley Cup banner beside that.
And the Capitals' quest for Lord Stanley's Cup takes flight tonight. The NHL is back on HTS. It's the Caps and Mighty Ducks next. Presents the National Hockey League tonight live from MCI Center. It's the Washington Capitals and the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. After a very brief summer and a very long training camp, the Caps are back in earnest tonight. Hopeful their 25th anniversary season will be a shining success. A very special good evening to you alongside Craig Laughlin. I'm Joe Beninati. Craig, last spring this Capitals organization went further than it ever had gone before. The organization taking huge strides, but no individual player took a greater leap for his career than Ole Kolzig.
And it was a huge leap starting off the season as the backup to Billy Ranford. And Olaf Kolzig takes over, wins 45 games combined regular season and the playoffs. 33 wins total during the regular season. That was third best in the NHL. 920 save percentage, fourth best, and over 1,700 shots faced. He had 9 shutouts combined. Here he stones Steve Hines. Look at that at the Boston Bruins in the playoffs. Great save. And look at Alexei Yashin. He can't believe it. He didn't miss many of those last year, but in the playoffs, Colton comes up large. Here, Game 6 overtime. Jason Woolley of the Sabres thinks he has it. Short side, he covers it up. Shortly after that, the Caps go on to victory. You need good goaltending to be successful this year. Kolzig #1. No ifs, ands, or buts here in Washington.
You just know he's going to be monstrous in the crease. And if the Washington Capitals get good health in the forward ranks, their offense could be imposing too.
Well, there's 3 key guys, obviously. Without Gonchar and Nicolishin signed yet, 3 guys have to carry the weight as they've done. Peter Bondra, 184 goals since '94. He's led the Capitals 4 straight years. He will do it again this year. It'll be his 5th straight. Adam Oates led the Caps in assists. And Joe Juneau, after a dismal regular season, lit the lamp in the playoffs big time. He had 7 goals. Here one against the Beantown Byron Defoe. He buries it in the playoffs. Juneau was hot hand in the postseason. 2 overtime winners, including this one against the Sabres. That sent the Capitals on to the Stanley Cup Finals against the Detroit Red Wings.
And Craig, some fans may look at this evening's matchup with the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim and figure it's easy pickings for Washington tonight. Nothing in this league is easy, especially when you have to contend with 2 of the game's brightest offensive stars.
Well, they may be the 2 best stars, and Timo Solani and Paul Kariya. They are explosive, they're dynamic, they're very exciting. You take a look at this dynamic duo. Look at those numbers. They played 115 games together. You have Paul Kariya getting 79 goals, 88 assists, and you have Timo Solani 75 goals and 86 helpers. Here, Paul Kariya against Jamie McLennan showing that wicked release. Roots one last year. Timo Solani finds Kariya. There again, a one-timer pass. Felix the Cat. And here against the Capitals, his first game back, one of 4 points on the night, his 2nd goal of the hockey game. Buries one past the Caps netminder, Olaf Kolzig. Dynamic players, Kariya, Solani. The Capitals have to shut those guys down.
Craig, I would imagine that with those 2 guys driving the ship, that the Ducks' offense is in good hands, but their defense is suspect. And this is something that their new head coach, Craig Hartsburg, is working on, believing in yourself.
Well, absolutely. You've got to believe in yourself, and they've changed the system a little bit. Last year, they went through so many ups and downs. Pierre Pagé changed the script every game. They had no set defensive setup. They're going to play man for man and have 1D in front of the net all night long.
As we get set for opening night in 98-99 here at MCI Center, the fans are rumbling. Pre-game, preseason festivities getting set to unfold. We'll send you away. We'll get you back to MCI Center for all of the festivities, all of the NHL action. It's coming your way in just a moment on Home Team Sports. HTS coverage of Capitals hockey tonight brought to you by Budweiser. Now is the perfect time to enjoy a fresh, cold, Beechwood-aged Budweiser. By Geico, one 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. Geico Direct, the sensible alternative. By the Discover card, it pays to discover, accepted where you see the Novus sign. By Giant Food, quality, value, and service. That's Giant, your place to save. And by Bell Atlantic Mobile. A cell phone is only as good as the network it's on. For our HTS viewers, the two best goal scorers in the NHL, they have only one thing in common. Uncommon speed. Anaheim's Teemu Selanne and all that Finnish flash. He revs it up against Peter Bondra and the Caps. Ready, aim, fire. Coming next on HTS.
Vietnam War. A major television event TLC brings you the heroes, battles, and the raw reality. Thump and whoosh of chopper blades. Muddy rat-infested bunkers, violent spatter of sudden water fire and morning sunshine. This is the stuff of a soldier's memory.
Vietnam, the soldier story. A 3-night event premiering Sunday at 9 on TLC. Adventures for your mind.
Oh, what a shot. Grandparents' dream. What a shot you just got. So cute you could scream from as close as a kiss or across the room. Every shot's a sure shot with a can of sure shots. Oh, what a shot. Hear the cheers of the crowd. What a shot you just got. Don't you feel proud?
Wow, you took that shot?
Every shot's a sure shot with a can of sure shots.
Heels now, get a cashback bonus award later. Discover the feeling. It pays.
At Giant, fresh ideas don't just happen. They burst with flavor. They're tossed in Old Bay and take shape before your very eyes. Our fresh ideas rise to the occasion and meet your satisfaction. We've got fresh ideas, great values too, at Giant, my Giant.
So fast, so furious, so Friday. This could only be HTS Fast Track Friday. Ready to race for 3 rip-roaring hours every Friday night. 7 p.m. Motorsports Hour. At 8, Cycle World. Talk off at 9 with This Week in NASCAR. Everyone, start your engines for Fast Track Friday. Every Friday night, only on HTS. Ready to race.
NHL hockey returning to Home Team Sports this evening in Washington, D.C. as the Washington Capitals get set for the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, as the fans here at MCI Center being introduced to the 98-99 variety of Washington Capitals. Craig, as a player, when you were there, when you were introduced on an opening night, it must be a pretty special moment.
Oh, it is very special, Joe. You've got butterflies, obviously, and this year even more special with the Capitals going to the Stanley Cup Finals, capturing that Eastern Conference trophy. I think it makes it that much more fun, and I think the players right now, they've been through a long training camp, the longest for a lot of guys they've ever had. It was a grinding training camp where they played 8 games, where they practiced for weeks on end, this is just fun for them to get out there, get the goose webs out, get them ready to go, and they'll be set.
Fans at MCI Center standing to salute Ole Kolzig off of his brilliant performance during the regular season a year ago and a notch better during the Stanley Cup playoffs. Perhaps the key reason why Washington went as far as it did. And Ole fully expects now to prove that he is no fluke this time around, Craig.
Well, he is no fluke. I mean, you look at around the NHL now, I mean, you've got to mention Kolzig with all the best now, with Patrick Waugh, with Mike Vernon, with Chris Osgood. He's one of the top 5 goaltenders in the NHL. He's a bona fide #1 guy. He's going to play a ton of hockey this year. He played the last 33 games straight for the Capitals last season. Don't be surprised if he doesn't carry the same workload this year.
He'll be backed up this season by Rick Tabaracci. Bill Ranford sent away in an off-season trade. Adam Oates leading his way onto the playing surface here at MCI Center. Only one center in the 90s has more assists than Adam Oates, and he's a pretty good player, Wayne Gretzky.
Not bad. But I bet, you know, you look at all these introductions, the big surprise at the end of last season, I wasn't sure if the captain was going to come back. My good buddy, Dale Hunter, and out of all the caps, he is the most loved in Washington. You can look at Bondra Kolzig. Dale Hunter will get the wildest response when he hits the ice here seconds away.
And right on cue, the captain since the 94-95 campaign when he took over for Kevin Hatcher, Dale Hunter.
What happened to his do? He's cut all his hair off here for the opener. He's looking pretty sporty right there, my buddy Hunt.
Dale Hunter ready to begin his 19th full season in the National Hockey League, and the fans do indeed love their captain. Washington Capitals, Mighty Ducks of Anaheim to get it started this regular season. But before we commence with the festivities of this year, it is time definitely to reflect back to the accomplishments of a year ago. You see Chairman and CEO Abe Pollin, along with Dick Patrick and George McPhee, ready to raise to the banner the sign that Washington had arrived in the National Hockey League Stanley Cup Finals a year ago.
And they want the other one this year, Joe. They want the big Stanley, and they want the Stanley Cup banner. That's what they're striving to do this season.
They had ever been. This goal was achieved in the first year. The Washington Capitals are the Eastern Conference champions. The 1997-98 season was memorable in many aspects. In the heart of the most powerful city in the world, Abe Pollin built the best sports arena in the world. On the MCI Center ice, the Capitals accomplished many milestones. The Caps christened the new building on December 5th with a victory over the Florida Panthers. Peter Bondra led the league in scoring, and along with Ole Kolzig, represented the Capitals in the 1998 NHL All-Star Game. And for the first time in NHL history, 3 players on the same team reached the 1,000-point mark in their careers. And throughout it all, Caps fans have made MCI Center the loudest in the league. So tonight, to kick off the silver anniversary of your Washington Capitals franchise, we all raise to the rafters the 1998 Eastern Conference Championship banner.
The pride in Mr. Pollin's face as he walks off, trailing Dick Patrick behind Abe Pollin. We look back now on a video retrospective of one season ago.
Sun grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this and don't ask why. It's not a quick but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. Something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life.
Great fun to watch that look back at the Washington Capitals, how they dispatched of the Buffalo Sabres to earn that Eastern Conference Championship banner in 6 games, 3 of them in overtime, and advance to the Stanley Cup Finals where they were steamrolled by the Detroit Red Wings. And as a result, they have definitely set the bar quite high for the 98-99 season in the NHL here in Washington. The Capitals head coach, Ron Wilson, definitely one of the main reasons why the Caps accomplished as much as they did. Earlier tonight, our Al Koken was able to catch up with Ron Wilson. Why don't we send you downstairs for Mr. Koken and Mr. Wilson, their reflections on the season to come.
All right, guys, thank you very much. With Capitals coach Ron Wilson, Ron, in just a few moments, the Eastern Conference Championship banner will be hoisted here at MCI Arena. It's great, but how do you want these guys to celebrate that moment and yet still focus on the job ahead as we start the regular season?
Well, we'd like to use that to spur us on to bigger and better things. It's not the banner that we really want to see hanging in the rafters here. We want a Stanley Cup Championship banner, and so our focus will be right where it should be. Hopefully we'll use that. The crowd will get excited, get us going early in the game, and we'll respond the right way.
Ron Wilson, good luck not only tonight, but the rest of the year as well.
Thanks, Al.
Ron Wilson, head coach of the Washington Capitals, before we get going with our pregame ceremonies. Back up now to Joe and Craig.
Al, thanks very much. The Eastern Conference Championship banner hanging, and now Craig Laughlin, how do you go about going one step further?
Well, hopefully you don't look at the history, because the history of teams that have made it that far in the playoffs and went to the Stanley Cup have been tough to come back and even get past the first round. In the last 8 years, only one team has done that. The Capitals have to be prepared this year to fight all 82 games.
Let's pause now and honor America with the singing of our national anthem.
What so proudly we hailed as the twilight
job. And a near-capacity crowd at MCI Center is ready for the NHL 98-99 Season 2 unfold, as are we on HCS. Craig Laughlin, who are our netminders tonight?
Well, for the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, Dominic Roussel gets the nod. 25-12-1. That was last year with the Canadian national team. He hasn't played in the NHL since 95-96, where he split time with the Winnipeg Jets and the Philadelphia Flyers. Lifetime, 64 wins, 51 losses, and 14 ties. And for the Caps, Olaf Kolzig, look at those numbers. 33, 18, and 10, 2.20, 920 save percentage. Not a great preseason for Kolzig, but the coaching staff is very confident in this big fella. He's going to have to be sharp against the two sharp shooters, Correa and Solani.
These are the on-ice officials for this evening's matchup. The referee is Mark Fawcett, the linesman Derek Amell, and Mike Civic. Both coaches going to start their top lines, Craig. It's big gun against big gun.
Yeah, that could be fireworks right off the get-go. As we look at Paul Correa, the new helmet to help protect that head that got cracked 4 times last year. 4 concussions for Paul Correa in the course of his career. And right now, there's a look at number 9 facing off against 77 Oaks. Power against power here in the Capitals' first game of the year.
Referee Mark Fawcett calls them to order. You see the Mighty Ducks in the advantage in the all-time series as Anaheim opens its 6th season of existence tonight in the NHL. Washington, as we have mentioned a number of times throughout our pregame show and now in the moments prior to tonight's game, a silver anniversary 25th. And hopefully, Peter Bondra can pick up where he left off under Ron Wilson's direction.
Yeah, they're working on the ice a little bit down to the right of Olaf Kolzig as Wills looks on. So you talk about the Mighty Ducks, their 6th start of the season. They're 0-5 in game openers, and they've been outscored drastically 20-9, Joe. So the Caps' key to this game, get on them early, put pressure on some inexperienced defense. They cost the puck over a ton. There you look at that stat. Not very rosy for the Mighty Ducks in game opener.
And 4 of those 5 losses have come on the road where Anaheim opens this season. In fact, the Mighty Ducks will get very, very familiar with those road sweaters. Their first 4 games will be away from the Arrowhead Pond. Before we get underway tonight, how about going downstairs? We rejoin Al Kokas.
Joe, thanks, and I can tell you why there's a little delay here, why the MCI Center crew is working on the ice. Because of all the pyrotechnics involved in the opening ceremonies with the introductions, they had 2 rather large, I don't know, to put them other than flamethrowers that kind of shot up a lot of heat and put up a lot of fireworks in the air. That created a lot of debris. Now, it helped melt some of the ice, and before the crew could get out there to sweep some of the debris up, the skaters came around and started to skate. That dug it up, then the ice refroze. So some of this debris is kind of in there deep. Why they not only have squeegees out there, but something that will actually scrape up the ice and kind of turn it over a little bit to try and get some of that top debris off. Some of the players were coming by looking at it, and Craig, you could address this. You know it doesn't take much to skate on something and to lose an edge. And with the Capitals having to defend this goal to start, the Capitals want to make sure it's as good as possible for their defensemen, particularly when you're coming back and chasing the puck with the bigger dimensions. You know the forecheckers will be on you. You lose an edge here, and as we've seen, unfortunately, what's happened with Jan Bulic on the sidelines because of losing an edge and crashing into the boards, and Pat Peake losing a career out of it. They want to try and make sure that nothing on the ice because of the pregame ceremonies hurts anybody that's skating for either side. Let's get back up to you guys as we look ready to go.
Aldo, absolutely right. I guess I'll have to take it easy on them, because if they had fell and I didn't know that you just told me that, I would have said they got hit by the blow dart. So I'm going to take it easy this period until the pyrotechnic stuff gets cleaned up.
Well said by you, by the way. Steve Ruchin and Adam Oates arrive at the center circle. Referee Mark Fawcett set to drop it. We are underway in 98 and 99. Glad to have you back on board Home Team Sports. Jason Marshall ahead. Teemu Solani darting down the wing. Fires, and there's a blocking glove save right off the bat for Olli Kolzig. Bondra looking to counterpunch. He'll drive right on and test the blocker of Dominic Roussel. Mark Tenorti, cross rink. Johansson, one-timer and a pad save as Roussel challenged on top of his crease.
Well, a lot of fireworks already. Al was talking about it. We've gotten to start this game. Solani and Bondra both tied with 52 goals last year. They get goals because they shoot the biscuit right off the bat. They each have one shot on net.
In the neutral zone, moving back, Johan Davidson, an NHL rookie. His wrist shot was deflected by Tenorti. Chris Simon will turn it. Back for the towering Tenorti once more, an alternate captain for the Washington Capitals this season. Tenorti leads too far for Simon, touched up by Pavel Trinka, and we have an icing just 58 seconds in to a scoreless matchup.
Well, the Capitals certainly, and Coach Ron Wilson knows it, you don't want to get into a run and gun against this Anaheim Mighty Ducks team. Ron Wilson, longtime coach of the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, spent 4 seasons in Anaheim, put up some pretty big numbers, had 120-some wins with Anaheim. Now he's facing them. A lot of the players, one of the original guys, Guy Hebert, before he was injured his shoulder for the second time when he was hauled down by Haller, his defenseman, said, man, I would have really liked to play in the home opener, especially against Coach Ron Wilson.
Mighty Ducks control the draw. Frederick Olofsson able to keep in. Joe Ricci entangled with Johan Davidson. Zednik has room to clear back to neutralize. Zednik playing with Simon and Juno across the top. Mighty Ducks will match them with Davidson, Matt Cullen, and Tomas Sandstrom. Sandstrom gives chase. Ricci there first. Around the corner curve. Chris Simon coming rink wide. An intercept by Matt Cullen. Sandstrom's shot deflected away by Ricci, and the Mighty Ducks want a line change on the go. 0-0. We played 90 seconds of the first period. Joe Juno loads and fires, and that was whistled dead and offsides spotted against Washington.
There's Joe Juno. Subpar season last year. He had 9 goals, 22 assists, 31 points, but man, was he red hot in the playoffs. 17 points, 7 of them goals. So he's just unbelievable. Just think the new one-year deal. So he's going to be with the Caps next year. He'll have to go after it. Preseason assist leaders, Joe Juno, 8. Tied with 3rd, Donovan. So pretty good preseason. Hopefully he gets out to a faster start than he had last year.
8 assists for Juno in 7 preseason appearances. That was good enough to pace all scores in the preseason for Washington.
And we thought we'd see him up front. Had not the Capitals had the injuries and unable to sign Nick Larishin, I think you would have seen him with Oates and Bonder. That line was clicking early on in the preseason, but now the Capitals have to put Juno as the second pivot. That's where he'll play here tonight and early on in the season.
Mighty Ducks regrouping in neutral. Antialto watches it come free. Back for Brendan Witt. Witt stubbed his pass intended for the rookie Matt Perk. Joseph Martin whistles one wide on the stick side of the goaltender Ole Kolzig. Jeff Nielsen wraparound attempt. That's shut off by Kolzig. A scramble in tight, and the puck will carry him to the corner. Kelly Miller able to clear.
Forwards for the Ducks, very, very skilled and quick. Other than Stu Grimson, these guys are skilled guys that go to the net hard. They cause a lot of havoc because of their great speed.
Marha cross rink, his pass behind Jeff Nielsen. Skated away by Kelly Miller. Miller will trickle it wide of Dominic Roussel in tonight for the injured normal starter for Anaheim, Guy Hebert, as the puck deflects up out of play for a whistle.
Yeah, there's a look at Dominic Roussel. He played so well against him in a preseason game when he was with Nashville that they said, hey, they've been watching him a while. They needed another goaltender. They traded Stalenkov, and they needed a guy. They brought in Roussel to be the backup to Hebert, and he gets his first start in the last 3 years in the National Hockey League. Decent goaltender. He's a guy that plays the butterfly, and he's a guy that you have to watch out for. And now with Francois Larry being their goaltender coach, he's going to have, I think, a stronger season than he has in a long while.
There's Guy Hebert, who had his right shoulder surgically repaired last April. He re-injured it in a preseason game last Saturday against Nashville.
And they're saying it wasn't the same injury, Joe. They say the cartilage, when he got hit in the first surgery, held up well with a crank of the shoulder and a first-degree separation.
Here's a 2-on-1. Bonder for once in his drive was blocked. Good defensive work there. Jason Marshall played the odd man rush very, very well. No score. 3 minutes, 15 seconds in. Johansson's flag blocked. Correa over skates. Oates out for Washington. Bellows back behind the cage. Kevin Howard comes to greet him. Solane looking to pitch forth the puck free. It squirts loose to Bondra. Behind the back pass to Norty. Wrist shot through traffic. Never made the net. Correa. He'll go glass. Back into the Washington zone. Anaheim outshooting Washington in the early going. 4 shots to 2. Olofsson playing catch with Pavel Trinka, the 22-year-old native of Republic. Olsen back down the wing. Matt Cullen on the wrister. Fought off by Kolzig as he got that blocking glove up in time. Chris Simon chugging back. Washington's got a 3-on-2 if they move it. Hunter to the net. Deflecting right in on Roussel. He dealt with that quite easily. Dale Hunter working away from Tomas Sandstrom. Now for Ruby. Warded away. Ducks have it. Johan Davidson crisscrossing with Matt Cullen. Cullen left it to the vacant wing. Ricky will play it back for Washington. A delayed penalty coming up here. Referee Mark Fawcett has spotted the game's first infraction.
That's going to be Thomas Sandstrom heading off the veteran. Pulled the legs out from under Chris Simon. He goes off. The Caps go to the power play when we return here on Home Team Sports.
So, I read an article that says they think about it every 8 seconds. I wouldn't doubt it. It seems like the only thing Dave ever wanted. They have one-track minds. Must be something biological or genetic. Men, they're all the same.
Hey. You read my mind.
TimeBridge Technologies, one source for enterprise-wide networking solutions. For networks, systems, and applications designed for your company, dial 888-402-1300.
This year, over 400,000 aluminum radiators will corrode and fail. But Prestone Antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming the Prestone Zone of protection against corrosion. It's your car. Protect it in the Prestone Zone.
Capitals go to the first power play. Check out the right side of the screen. You'll have Simon with the puck. It goes to Hunter, and then he's upended by Thomas Sandstrom. 2 minutes tripping.
And quickly, Richard Dennis right off the wall lifts the lid on the scoring for the Washington Capitals. A lightning bolt power play goal.
Well, Joe, the power play looks better. How about that? Right off the get-go, they operated at 15.7% last year. Right off the face-off, Richard Sednick, speed wide, gets around the D and gets a lucky bounce as Jamie Pusher can't control him. And a sharp angle backhander had Dominic Roussel playing the shot. When it ricocheted off Pusher, comes right back to Sednick, a guy that's going to have a great season. He puts the Caps up 1-0 on the power play.
Just 8 seconds into the manpower advantage as the puck leaves the playing surface for his stoppage. At 4 minutes and 35 seconds, Richard Sednick's first of the year comes on the power play with Tomas Sandstrom off on the penalty bench.
Not that I want to gloat either, Joe, but we had that little bet prior to the game who was going to score the first goal of the season.
No, Craig, betting is illegal.
We had a gentleman's bet.
Yeah, sure we did.
And Locker picked number 44. How do you like that?
Good start by you. Could be a long year for me. 1-0 Washington. Richard Sednick on the board. The Caps in the preseason, they had power play goals in 6 of their 8 preseason tune-ups. And they continue to score well on the power play to start things tonight in the regular season. Ruchin taps it for Solani. He was tied up by Mark Tenorti, and this is Brian Bello. Now for Adam Oates, trying to weave its way on Jason Marshall. Korea back to collect for Anaheim. Steve Ruchin knocked down to the deck, able to chop it to the corner. Ruchin rewarded for his fine play with a big contract in the offseason.
Yeah, $10 million over 4 years. Obviously, if you're centering the 2 best players in the league, and I'm sure they love this guy, he's a big forward centerman that seems to have a way to get the puck to them. But most importantly, you know, those guys are going on the O. He's very solid defensively in their own zone.
Steve Konowalchuk rambling back. Konowalchuk with the good pass back on the deflection by Roussel. Konowalchuk jamming at the doorstep. Third night goes on. Referee Mark Fawcett is waving it off. And now we have a commotion back behind the cage.
Commotion behind Dominic Roussel. It will not be a goal. The referee had already blown the whistle. And he's, I think, going to award the Capitals a power play upcoming again. The Anaheim Mighty Ducks got caught flat-footed, their D, and they had to take the Capitals' speedy forwards going to the net. They hauled them down. Because of that, they go to the power play. Their first one solid with Zednik scoring. Now they go to their second. It's going to be interference. The goal will be waved off. The whistle already went. And in the box will be Travis Green. Here's Green going to the net. Upends the Capital forward, Peter Bondra. And he tries to whack it in. It actually gets by the netminder. The whistle had already gone. Travis Green off in the box. The Caps go to the power play.
Fans at MCI Center disappointed with Mark Fawcett's call because he washed out an apparent goal.
And he was on the far side. He was on this side of the screen. He couldn't see that the puck was still loose. Here's our Time Bridge top shot. Great look down on the penalty. Look at Bondra to the right side of the goal net. There he is trying to hack it in. It finally goes in. The referee lost sight of it. The whistle went. Good call by Fawcett. Faceoff comes outside, and the Caps still go to the power play.
Washington looking to build on its lead as Travis Green spends some time in the penalty bench. Green for obstruction interference at 5 minutes and 42 seconds. The Zednik goal reads this way officially now. 4 minutes and 35 seconds in. Zednik's first from Joe Juneau, a power play strike. 5-on-4 for Washington. Zednik right back out there with Joe Juneau and Chris Simon on the front line.
Simon got kabonged by Marshall in front. Look for that to something to happen there. He didn't like getting a shot like that to the back in the corner there.
Dmitry Mironov, a newcomer in the Washington lineup. A power play specialist of sorts. Callie Johansson fires through a screen, and Roussel has that trap with a catching glove.
There they are. Marshall and Simon, good scrap going on in front. A lot of hacking and whacking. These guys are sick and tired of training camp, and they want to get after it. A lot of scrumming it up after the whistle. Juneau and company along with Zednik. But the big collision was with Big Marshall and Chris Simon, who's trying to set up shop in front so Mironov can let loose that wicked slap shot he has from the point.
Really the first full setup for the power play this regular season. And Ron Wilson was saying we want to narrow our focus, make plays simply, bomb away at the net. And there, that good hard work is causing a lot of rebounds.
Yeah, and here it is. Callie Johansson, wicked shot. Great season last year with 15 goals. A lot on the power play. Look at Simon and Marshall. The little face wash going on, the elbow to the coconut. That's a pretty good face wash, holding on to his twig as he does it. Here's the shot. Good scrum in front. That's what it's all about. They're outside the crease area. The crease not becoming a factor. Simon makes sure he's about a foot outside so Callie Johansson can bomb it away.
We're just about 6 minutes and 11 seconds deep in the first period of the first game, and you're already into your lingo. For those of you unaware, for those of you listening for the first time, A, where have you been? And B, twig is a hockey stick.
Yeah, feels like the playoffs for me. It's the first game. It's exciting.
Sure is.
Pretty good games last night on two. Philadelphia wins one in MSG. The Rangers did not look very good. The Flyers, on the other hand, look very good because of their netminder, John Van Beesbrook. That's going to really help that hockey team.
Jason Marshall and Tomas Sandstrom each getting 2 minutes each for roughing. Washington penalties for Simon and Richard Zednik. They will each receive minors for roughing, so all 4 of those minor penalties will wash out. Washington remains on the power play. 5-on-4 for the next 1 minute and 31 seconds as Travis Green is still off. Mironov fires the former Mighty Ducks right on Dominic Roussel. Rebound pins ball back to the point. Oates tied up by Ruchin. Bellows working the side dasher boards, and finally the Ducks able to squirt it back to neutral ice. Bellows, Oates, Bondra across the front. Johansson and Muir off the rear guard. Bondra fakes the slapper, lays to the corner. Johansson taps it. Bellows returns to Adam Oates. Oates away from the defense of Jamie Busher. Bellows back for Oates. Sidesteps Ruchin. Midpoint, Johansson fires. That's blocked. Bondra tapping it back towards the blue line. Johansson not able to keep it in with a sprint.
Pretty good job here by this penalty-killing unit for the Ducks. Last year atrocious, this year better.
Bellows from the short side just sipped it wide. 1-0 Washington, 7 minutes deep in the first period. A power play goal from Richard Zednik. Little past the 4-minute mark. Washington on the power play here. Dmitry Mironov. Cross run. That skipped over Adam Oates. Trinka coming to shut off Adams' room to the net. Carlos had a stick checked off of his tape by Johan Davidson. Ken Clay for Mark Tenorti. 3 shots on the power play for Washington this time. An unsqueezing pass, Dominic Roussel. We remain 1-0 Washington. This is going to be icing against the Mighty Ducks. 7 minutes and 50 seconds into our first period. Richard Zednik in front by 1. Brendan Witt and the Caps now looking to hold that first period lead. More in a moment on HTS.
It's the essence of Merrill. Proud, bold, dynamic. We celebrate it on Maryland Million Day, Saturday, October 17th. The Maryland Million, Maryland's Day at the Races. Presented by Cosequin, Coseman DS, and Carrollton Bank.
Want an explosion? Yeah. Have you tried Mondo Mango? What's it taste like? Mango. Well, I've never had mango. What if I don't like mango? Have you tried Mondo Mango?
To some, a scented cardboard cutout is simply no substitute for the genuine article. The freshly updated 1999 Toyota 4Runner.
Go, baby, go! Go! Come on. Go, baby! Go! Inhibitions, leave them in the car. Go, baby, go.
Around the morning skates this morning at Piney Orchard, Caps were teasing Richard Zednik on how many goals they were depending upon him for this regular season, and Zednik has responded in the game's first game of the season with his first of the year. It's a 1-0 Washington advantage.
I'll put some pressure on him. I think he can score 30.
Backhand chance for Anti-Alto, missing on the short side of Ole Kolzer.
Is that Anti-Aldo, you said?
No, that is not a reference to Alto, the third member of our broadcast crew. That's Anti-Alto.
I just don't listen to you that much.
That is perfectly and patently obvious. Kanawalchuk able to clear, wrestled from behind by Travis Green, who's already spent time on the penalty bench. Here's Matt Herr rolling one right on, and Dominic Roussel will cover.
Good play by Matt Herr, fighting off a check and trying to take it to the net. Youngster, the first couple of shifts out there, trying to find his way through the National Hockey League. 72 goals, 61 assists at University of Michigan and a national championship. Well coached there, and here's a look at that last play that he had. Nice overhead view, taking it up the middle, driving to the net. That's one thing he does really well, is that he fights through checks. Wilson and company love the way he competes. That's why he's in the lineup opening night for the Caps.
Herr, who scored in the preseason against the Detroit Red Wings. Final preseason game for Washington. Matt Herr, you mentioned the good coaching coming from the Wolverines bench boss, Red Berenson. Paul Correa flings one right on Ole Kolzer. Correa tied up there by Johansson. Dale Hunter to the rescue for the Caps, who lead by 1 as we fast approach the mid portion of the first period. Berube rips it around the corner curve. Roussel navigating back behind the Duck net. Kelly Miller on the steal. Johansson plays the corner boards. Berube boxed in there by Jason Marshall. The pass back for Johansson eludes his grasp, and Washington will have to retrace its steps. Shots on goal now favoring the Caps 9-6. They lead by 1. Richard Zednik is on the board. Roussel struts it along the dashes. Right on by the play of Matt Cullen. Pascal Trepanier was dumped, and up comes the arm of referee Fawcett. The Mighty Ducks will get their first power play chance right here.
Yeah, another tripping minor doled out by the referee Fawcett. Gonna have Joe Juno for the Caps heading off. Trepanier coming through the neutral zone.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, Trepanier.
There you go.
Tough gets upended. Pascal or Pascal.
You got to go.
Or Pascal. Here it is. There's the trip right there. Trying to jump up in the play. Newly acquired defenseman. Fortunately for them, they got him because Huda was just traded to Detroit and sent to Adirondack. Juno in the box. 2 minutes for tripping.
Time of the call will be 9:31. Joe Juno off. Penalty killers out there for Washington to protect Ole Kolzig now. Adam Oates with Peter Bondra.
This is an interesting power play. They go with 4 forwards and 1 defenseman, and more often than not, you're going to see Paul Kariya on the top of the umbrella with Solani and Olofsson up top. Down low, you're going to see Ruchin and Sandstrom trying to create havoc and get to the loose Pistons.
Mironov and Riki, the defense partnership, rounding out the penalty killers for Washington. Sandstrom with a punt, trying to knock this score at one. Washington has the lead. Sandstrom buried by Riki. Ruchin for Olofsson. One-timer sizzled wide. Riki plays the glass. Kariya not able to keep it in. Anaheim will have to regroup. Kariya on the rewind. Tried to play the wing for Solani. The pass was bouncing all the way and an easy clear. Olofsson on the outlet. Kariya right back in. This is Solani. Measured well there by Tinordi. Tinordi didn't clear. Solani taps. Ruchin moves. Steve Ruchin. Frederick Olofsson, and now Solani. Olofsson once more. They wanted Kariya on the one-timer. Good work by Konowalchuk, sticking the passing lane. Olofsson back. Solani drive right on there. Kolzig once more to need to make the stop on the clear. Comes from Steve Konowalchuk.
You wonder why this penalty-killing unit, Joe, #1 in the NHL, it's because they use their sticks extremely well. The sticks are always moving. They're always in the passing lane, taking away time and space. And the Mighty Ducks have had trouble penetrating this box. They're very aggressive down low. They haven't let the Ducks set it up. Those outside shots, Kolzig are going to stop them all the time.
Kevin Haller comes to his point man, Jason Marshall. Down low to Matt Cullen. Once more Marshall teeing it up, and that one is shanked about 12 rows deep in the end zone seats.
Field goal good.
The draw should be pushed back out to center ice. It did not deflect off the Capitol, nor Ole Kolzig.
Here's a look at Olaf Kolzig in net for the Caps. A lot of restrictions made to the goalies' equipment. We talked about some of the rule changes in the pregame show, but Kolzig also tested. They're measuring them randomly. If you get nailed with any illegal equipment, it's going to be a one-game suspension. That jersey especially, that's one of the rules they clamp down on it. You can only have 30 inches of width, 32 of length on a jersey now. Kolzig has asked the league if he could have more. They've opted to let him have 2 more inches, so his jersey is 34 inches.
He makes a good point. He's a very big man at 6'4", 230, as opposed to a guy like Chris Terreri or Mike Richter, who's 5'9", 5'10". And last year, Kolzig would wear a size 62 game sweater. This season, it's a size 58. Haller, as the Washington penalty-killing opportunity expires, the power play for Anaheim goes awry. We are back to even strength. 5 aside we go. Washington in front by 1, thanks to Richard Zednik.
Now, Joe, you wouldn't have a problem with the goalie's jersey, would you?
I'd be swimming in a 58. You and me could get into a 58, and that, my friend, is saying something. Dominic Roussel has been pierced by Richard Zednik. It's 1-0 Washington.
The big screen store. Let's do the room.
From wall units and sofas to surround sound, there's much more to the big screen store than just the biggest selection of Mitsubishi big screens. So go ahead, do the room.
Let's do the room.
And here comes Chris Hill, 4 feet 6 out of Jefferson Elementary, a confident young man with a great stride. But, uh-oh, he might be in trouble now.
Hey, Chris. Want to get high? No way, man. That stuff's for losers.
Oh, what a move! Chris Hill never hesitates, just blows past that guy. Bob?
You're right, Mike. Look, Chris is known for his great head shake. Then he shifts his weight to the right foot, finds a hole, and zip, he's out of there.
Spectacular, just spectacular. This kid's got a bright future.
It's time now for our first look at a very busy out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by the Washington Post. The Blues with a 1-0 lead over Boston. Same thing for the Red Wings over the Toronto Maple Leafs. No score between the Rangers and Canadiens. Pittsburgh bombing the Islanders early 3-0. And Tampa Bay and Carolina deadlocked at 1. Back up to Joe and the anti-Aldo, Craig Laughlin.
Al Kogan, thanks very much. The Ducks and the Caps, one of 12 games around the NHL slate, and Al will be keeping us up to date as other goings-on proceed. Kariya on the dump-in here in Washington, D.C. tonight, 1-0 for the Washington Capitals. Richard Zednik is the goal-getter. He's spun around by Paul Kariya. Johansson plays it around the curve, not out. Pusher to the front. Knocked away, and then Solane was robbed by the right toe of Ole Kolzig.
Unbelievable recovery. That was a wide-open, gaping net for Solane. He's not going to miss too many of them. Great stop coming across from left to right by Kolzig.
Simon on the drop pass, Zednik to the front. Juno was spilled. Fans wanted to call against Pascal Trepanier. None coming from referee Mark Fawcett. Solane will pitch it in on one skip for Ole Kolzig. Mighty Ducks in the middle of a shift change. 7:15 to go in the first. 1-0 for the locals. Matt Cullen, rattled by Brendan Witt. Johan Davidson eludes Joe Juno. Juno double team there. Cullen comes away with a puck. Matt Cullen pivots away from Juno to the front. Knocked away by Witt and Kolzig. Juno locking up with Sandstrom. Joe Juno looking to get it free and clear of Pavel Trinka. Didn't do it first attempt. Ken Klee will on the second try. Trinka back to get it. Pavel Trinka now in his fourth professional season. His only prior visit to MCI Center with the Mighty Ducks. A season ago, he scored a goal in this building. Bellows taps. Oates on the way. Adam Oates. For Bellows, trying to split the gap on the defender. Bondra. Bellows once more. And now, Mike LeClaire, an NHL rookie, looking to flip it free and clear. He did so up off the playing surface. Teemu Solane was close, but Ole Kolzig was at the ready.
Solane averaging 1.29 points per game in his NHL career. He's not going to miss many of these. He's had over 70 goals before, 52 last year, tied him with Peter Bondra. Look at this open net right there. Quick release, great recovery. Kolzig covering a lot of the lower part of that net with that outstretched right leg.
You mentioned that previous 70-goal campaign for Teemu Solane. You look at the numbers a year ago, none too shabby, but they pale in comparison to his rookie year with the Winnipeg Jets. Back in 92-93, Solane clipped for 76 goals. He was the NHL's Rookie of the Year. The runner-up that year played in Boston, Joe Juno.
That 76, I think, tied him with Alexander Mogilny that year. We had two guys that had 76 in the National Hockey League.
Huge numbers. 6 minutes, 4 seconds to go. First period, 1-0 Washington tonight. Richard Zednik on the board back at 4:35 on an assist from Joe Juno. Jason Marshall collects for the Ducks. Now Kevin Holler. Holler blasts it in. Bellows, Enrique. Bello threw a strong shot at Antti Alto. Alto, the Finnish born winger. Out of the corner, working with it. Yusuf Marhal, the return for Alto as they work the cycle game. Alto got a pick from Marhal. Right to the front, backhand chance, kept out by Kolzig. Oates with Marhal. Marhal, the former Colorado Avalanche property. Dmitry Mironov, the former Mighty Duck, gave it up in his own end. A good carom came right to Brian Bello.
Wow, what a great shift out there by the Mighty Ducks, especially Antti Alto. He was terrific. He even tried the old play off the back of the net, got it back and tried to stuff it on the netminder Kolzig. The first pressure we've seen from this Ducks team was that young line cycling the puck, creating real problems for the Capitals defenseman.
I'm glad you saw that. I thought my eyes were deceiving me when he used the back of the net as a away from the defender.
Look at them cycle the puck down low. Look at that extra room, allows them to work that play, and there's that play off the back of the net and back to his stick. Nice look at our Timebridge top shelf. Great look down in that play. Nice play by the youngster, Antti Alto.
Steve Ruchin on the draw. Zednik, or rather Matt Purr winning the face-off. Purr told me this morning he set a very lofty goal for himself in his NHL time. He wants to win 3/4 of his face-off. Good shot right on, good blocking glove save. Loose in tight, scramble near the cage. Konowalchuk to the slot and right on through.
That kid showed me something there. Great release by Matt Purr. Just about caught Roussel off guard there. Nice little snapshot as he came over that blue line.
Johansson plays the boards for Yogi Sveikovsky, and back out to center she comes. Trepanier bumped into by Matt Hur. Hur right after him like a guided missile. 1-0 Washington, 4:28 to play in the opening period at MCI Center. Craig Berube storming right off the players' bench right after Paul Correa. Correa able to nudge it back to neutral. Dale Hunter will float it back into the Anaheim zone. Collected by Trepanier. Over the head of Tomas Sandstrom. Brandon Witt using the board. Didn't get it free and clear from Matt Cullen. Cullen jams on the brakes. Dodging Dale Hunter. Cullen Tried to slap one for Trinka. That was well read by Kelly Miller. Trinka on the send-in. All the way around on the pinwheel, back to center ice.
It's going to be tougher and tougher for netminders to get out and stop that puck, and that's why Kolzig couldn't get it out to stop it. Therefore, the puck all the way around the corner. A hand pass stops the play here. 1-0 Caps. Sednik, the goal scorer. Stay tuned. More first period action ahead on HTS.
TV Week in Sunday's Washington Post.
It's here. A whole new way to use your wireless phone from Bell Atlantic Mobile. With no roaming or long distance charges. One single rate coast to coast. It's Digital Choice Single Rate USA. Of course, if you'd like a plan that works a little closer to home, there's Digital Choice Single Rate East. Digital Choice Single Rate from Bell Atlantic Mobile. There's nothing better in the world.
Hey, Mom! Hey, Dad! Listen to this!
Classifieds in Sunday's Washington Post.
He scored the first ever Washington Capitals goal in this building 1 season ago. He started the scoring this season for the Washington Capitals tonight at MCI Center. At the 4:35 mark on an assist from Joe Juneau, a power play goal has Washington in front. Joe Beninati, Craig Laughlin, Al Koken with you tonight on Home Team Sports. Zednik peels away from Travis Green, trying to slot one for Juneau. That was deflected right to the waiting hockey stick of Mike Leclerc. Leclerc will send in. Rieke first to it for Washington. Around the dash here and out. Olsen on the back pedal, off for Green. Caromed off of his skate boot right to Chris Simon. Wide on the wing for Mironov to Hackett into the Duck defensive territory. Pavel Trinka on through Leclerc. Back into the Washington zone. A little more than 3 minutes to go in the first. Shots on goal favoring the Caps 12-10. Juneau taps to the wing. Zednik picks it up in stride. Richard Zednik maneuvering on Kevin Holler. Got double teamed by the Duck captain, Paul Correa. Ruchin now on the run. The headman on through Teemu Solani. Kolzig buzzing a clearing attempt out as far as the line for Ruchin. Solani got spilled while on his fanny able to tap it for Correa. Turnaround chance right there is Ole Kolzig.
The first glimpse that Solani and Correa trying to hook up there. Ruchin, the centerman, gets a weak shot away. The Capitals doing a nice job kabonging these two guys. They've been on their butt all period long. Here's a look down at it. There's Ruchin getting a hit. There at the top of the screen, you see Solani getting knocked over. And at the end of that play, Simon goes right to Ruchin. No extra taps on our netminder as Ruchin tries to poke it. Good job by the Caps defensively. A shot on net will be credited, but an easy stop for Kolzig.
Correa's wrist shot through traffic, deflected, and the play was brought to a halt. Referee Mark Fawcett spotted a penalty.
Yeah, it's going to be high sticking to the defenseman, Kevin Holler, the assistant captain of the Mighty Ducks. He kabonged Peter Bondra over the coconut at the blue line. Because of that, 2 minutes for high sticking. The Caps go to their third power play.
Kabong, coconut, same sentence. You are in midseason form, my friend.
Yes, sir. Gotta love it.
Kevin Holler into the penalty bench at 17:25. By my count, it's power play opportunity number 3 for Washington. They are 1 for their first 2. Caps control the draw. 2.5 minutes to go in the opening frame. Dmitry Mironov on the target to Peter Bondra. Bondra, the 30-year-old Slovak, hits the brakes, spins away from Jeff Nielsen. Johansson. Mironov, one-timer pad, stop Roussel. Matt Cullen didn't clear. Johansson sets it big time. Bondra bouncing on its way. And Roussel trapped it like the shortstop going up the middle.
Yeah, poor job penalty killing by this Anaheim Mighty Duck club. Last year, 11.7% on the power play, just 81.8 on the penalty kill. That's not going to do it for Hartsburg. Errant passes like that kill ya. Nielsen couldn't get it out. Fortunately for Roussel, that biscuit would have went through him had it not hit the defenseman first. Watch this. Off his leg, an easy bouncer. Pretty good pickup. Looked like the shortstop there. Roussel stops the bomb from Peter Bondra.
Bellows, Oates, Bondra up front for Ron Wilson, Tim Army, and Tim Hunter. The Caps coaching brain trust. Dmitry Mironov and Calle Johansson rounding out the power play group. Travis Green ready to draw against Adam Oates. Oates being asked to get his stick in line by the towering linesman Mike Civic. Oates won the draw cleanly, in fact too cleanly, right on through Calle Johansson. 2 minutes to go, first period, 1-0 Washington. Johan Davidson. And Davidson, the impressive 22-year-old Swedish-born rookie, sends it in there deep, and Oates will roll back out. Adam Oates, who 13 years ago to the day began his NHL career with the Detroit Red Wings. Pavel Trinka stopping that capital advance. Sending it back into the Washington zone for Johansson. Johansson on target, Bondra. Gliding in. Slips the defender. Fires, and that's eaten up by Jason Marshall. And boy, did that sting. Johansson for Oates. 50 seconds in the power play. Mironov way down low. Intercept, Ruchin, 2-on-2, Korea flying down that sideline. Korea, wrist shot, well off the mark. 1-0 Capitals, 70 seconds to go in period number 1. Jason Marshall, the Duck defender, went to the bench, still stinging off that Bondra blast. Oates, soccer style, from skate to stick. Adam Oates. Finds Tenordi, big score for Chris Simon, just off the toe of his hockey stick.
Yeah, a little bit too much mustard on that pass across. A little bit too high, but Simon in the right position. Good job by the Capitals on that power play.
That will expire in 8 seconds. Nielsen doing a nice job of running the remaining time off as he gets worked over by Mark Tenordi. And in fact, too roughly, according to referee Mark Fawcett.
Yep, 2 was good. The referee was going to let him get away with it, but that third punch to the head was enough, and Fawcett sends him off. He was working over Nielsen down in the corner, and he's going to get 2 minutes for roughing. So with 37.4 seconds left here in the first, Tenordi off. The Caps with 2 seconds left on their power play. Here it is, down low. Nielsen and Tenordi. Watch this shot. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's keep counting them. 4 shots, I guess, means a minor penalty. And Simon, just prior to this on the power play, I talked about that hard rink-wide pass. Simon off the side. Look at Simon, top left of the screen, trying to collect that pass. Nice rink-wide pass, just doesn't fall down. It was a saucer pass over sticks, didn't get down in time, and because of that, 4-on-4 for 2 seconds, and then the Ducks go to the power play.
Travis Green against Joe Juno on this face-off. And the Caps able to trickle the puck back to center. Green will regroup. Green all the way back into the Duck zone. Just 25 ticks in the first period. Frederick Olesen launching one in. Kolzig barking instructions. Riki got there ahead of Sandstrom. Klee hammers it around the curve and out. Tail end of the first now. Pavel Trinka with a final rush. 70-footer right to the belly of Ole Kolzig. And that was washed out anyway because the Ducks were offside on the attack. Ole Kolzig, magnificent. 1 year ago with 33 wins during the regular season. That was tied for 3rd in the NHL. Second most in Caps history in a regular season, Craig. Only Jim Carey in 95-96 had more.
Amazing numbers, and when you look at his career, I mean, he's always been looked at as a backup. Now he's the #1 guy. You look at it, I think he's been playing so long, but if you look at his stats, he's still a young netminder, and that's what they think they have in Roussel. A lot of people don't think that goaltenders reach their maturity until they're 29, 30 years old.
Roussel 28, Kolzig 28 in our battle tonight. And the buzzer goes. We are done with 20 minutes of play at MCI Center through one period complete. Richard Zednick sends the Washington Capitals to the dressing room with a first period lead. It was Zednick's power play goal back at 4:35 of the first. Joe Juneau collecting the only helper on the power play goal with Tomas Sandstrom off in the penalty bench. That's where we stand after one. Stick around. Our first period intermissions activities coming up. Al Koken hopefully with a guest. Craig and I will take a look at some highlights. We'll clue you in as to the other games around the league. All that and more coming up between periods. 1-0 Washington tonight in the NHL season opener for the Caps on HTS.